these would all cause us to make different decisions as we're performing this optimization. And the idea here is by using Rorschach Monte Carlo, we can actually integrate out this kind of uncertainty and make a decision that's going to be good under many different possible hypotheses. The issue is that, in general, I think for many people has resisted doing this because running something like NCFC inside your optimizer is not what you're thing to do. But the fact is that what you're trying to, if you're going to need a function to train this neural network, then who cares if you run NCFC for 30 seconds? And that's kind of the underlying philosophy of API optimization, is that we can revisit some assumptions about optimization in the context of various training procedures. Similarly, we can take advantage of this kind of public model through parallelization. So the procedure that the cartoon I showed you before was very sequential. I make a decision, and then I wait till it comes back, then I run another one. But, you go on Amazon, you do it by level plus computers, where let's make them parallel. So we might be able to make these kind of intelligent decisions, but in parallel. Fortunately, with a public model, we can fantasize possible futures. We can imagine in a generative way possible things that might happen from when we evaluate something. And we can try to make decisions that are going to be robust under all possible futures, and in a very similar kind of way. So that's what we do with hyperparameters. So for example, we have 3 experiments that we completed, and onto the cloud are 2 pending things. These are things we're trying, we're training, we don't know what's going to happen with it yet. And now we want to run a 6th thing. Something is fine, some machine has come free, we can use it. How do we use it? And so what we can do is we can imagine possible futures, possible things that might happen when this guy comes back. And we can try to make it, and we can imagine each one of those results, possible futures in a sense, would cause us to want to do something different with the 6th experiment. Alright? And again, what we do is integrate out these possible futures and make something that's going to be a good idea in expectation under many possible outcomes. And this allows you to get a very nice kind of asynchronous procedure for parallelizing these ideas. Okay, so that's just kind of a little bit of a taste of some of the things that a lot of people go through. Data optimization is a nice but impractical idea to something that we can really use in practice and today solve these kinds of problems. This has allowed us to do a lot of other kinds of operating within the space. So, for example, sharing information across different tasks. Have several different visualizers for different problems to solve. You can solve different ones tomorrow. You can use a vector value Gaussian process, for example, to share information across these. You can very good on the second one or the third one after you solve some intermediate problem. You can also share information across problem scales. If you have a billion images that you might build a great network for the things to train. You don't want to do that many times. You don't want to spend a lot of time exploring that space. You can compare and share information from small problems to large problems under the observation that the system parameters would be very similar. And we can, as I said, do this by sharing information across objective functions and making correlated predictions. This in practice gives us potentially quite a bit larger, pretty significant gains in performance. We've also explored other kinds of modeling ideas in the space. There's something we call freeze-thaw basic optimization, which takes advantage of the fact that often your training procedure, your objective function is itself an objective function you're training with something like stochastic gradient descent. We can model those training curves and then abort early different kinds of training procedures that look like they're not going to yield very good results. So you can wind up with kind of partially completed runs of training again like a big deep net in which you don't have to finish in order to know it's going to be a bad idea and learn something about the hyperparameters. And this gives us again kind of very nice results. These procedures, in addition to sort of making it easy to automate these kinds of decisions, turn out to also be very good at setting these parameters. That is better than human experts on many problems, even the people who wrote the code. And over the last couple of years, at different times, and some of these things evolve very quickly. We've had state-of-the-art on a variety of data sets for visualizing recognition, speech recognition, automatic casting, and so on. So it's kind of very interesting and exciting because not only does it prevent you from having to tune this yourself, but it often can outperform the people who wrote the code. And this is something we've seen, kind of taking a seed of a variety of different other areas as well. And one of the things once we discovered that we had a sort of an interesting hammer, you start to see lots of details outside of machine learning, designing things like materials and turbid blades and compression algorithms and so on. This is kind of a pretty excellent example of applying these ideas completely outside of deep learning. So there's some mechanical engineering researchers at MIT who do study biomimetic robots, like the Cheetah. It's very hard to tune the control systems for these kinds of things. On the left, you're seeing somebody trying to, with essentially weeks of work of trying to tune the control system for this biomimetic Cheetah. And on the right, you're seeing sort of literally overnight of using optimizing that same control system. So this is all sort of fun, and we have research code that you can check out. But we've also been creating a startup that's been this technology out. And in particular, they make it unbelievably easy to use, sort of on the order of 5 lines of Python code like this, where you can find some parameters you care about, and you essentially ask what we call a scientist for a suggestion of what to try next. You go out and try that, and then report the results, and then loop. Right? So it gives you, with a very small amount of code, it gives you an idea of what you should be exploring. Even because of the asynchronous parallels I mentioned before, you can have a bunch of these running on the cluster parallel, and all sort of nice to each other and explore this parameter space. And then we have kind of a letter base that you can use to check out, and a command line interface if you like to do it that way. So look at the data that you're gathering, all the computations, all that's happening in the cloud. So I'll just wrap up there. So you can check out the sort of academic code, which we call experiment, or like whatever else experiments, and you can also check out our startup at webmap.com. Thanks so much.
このバスはよかった。窓が広かったですね。
Collaborating with me on this work. So we heard a couple of times by now that scene understanding is an important topic, and one way to phrase scene understanding could be given a single input image X, we want to predict the room layout that nicely describes the observed scene. Or another interesting task that we might have heard in the couple of in the last 2 days is task given again a single image X. We want to predict the combination of tags that nicely describe the content of the scene. Or yet another task that you might have seen yesterday is image segmentation, where given image X, you want to again predict a segmentation that nicely outlines the objects of interest. Now looking at this table, we have a couple of different applications, but they all use the same mathematical symbol in a sense. So not astonishingly, the inference task can also be phrased identically as trying to predict that output space object S star, which maximizes over the set of all possible output space configurations its scoring function F. And this scoring function F is assumed to be dependent on, obviously, the output space object, then it should also be dependent on the data, and it also depends on some parameters. Now I don't want to talk too much about inference here, but we all are interested in solving this learning topic, so how do we find our parameters of this particular function? And this, as I mentioned, is known as the learning task. So we're interested in finding a set of good parameters from typically annotated examples. And I put all those annotated examples into the data set Z, which contains pairs of data X and corresponding annotation, that is corresponding output space object X. Now what are typical algorithms out there that have been used for learning the parameters, then we see there are two kinds of algorithms. The non-linear models, like conditional random geometry structure support for machines, for example, where the scoring function is typically an inner product between a parameter vector W and some typically handcrafted feature vector theta. And on the other hand, there are those non-linear models like convolutional neural networks, where the scoring function depends in an arbitrary, possibly non-linear way on our parameters. Now, how do we train in such a complicated non-linear setting? Well, in order to tell you that, let me go back to the inference task. Remember, the inference task was the prediction task of finding the output space object as star that maximizes the scoring function. Now, instead of maximizing the scoring function, let me rephrase this task. And I'm going to introduce the probability of the configuration. I denote that with P. And I get the probability of the configuration, that's just exponentiating the score, and then making sure that the probability is often properly normalized when I sum across all possible scores. Now, the normalization constant is independent of the configuration, and the exponential function is kind of a nice monotone function. So then I can rephrase inference, so instead of maximizing a score, just maximize this probability. And that kind of makes sense intuitively, right? If we have an example that has a high score, we also want it to have a high probability. So now with this definition of the probability at n, as shown on top of this slide again, what do we want to do during learning? What is the typical learning? I guess we have all heard a lot about deep learning, but what do we actually do in deep learning? Well, what we want to do is we're given this data set, and we want to tune the parameters in a way that we are maximizing the probability of this data. So what is the probability of the data set? Well, we can assume that our data is independent, which then means the probability of the data set is the product of the individual probabilities. Now, plugging in the definition of the probabilities that I gave you on top of the slide, this will work. If you plug that one in and go over the derivations, we quickly see that we get the cost function similar to the one shown on the bottom. So this is exactly what we want to optimize. So now how do we optimize this cost function? Well, I guess we all knew how to optimize this cost function already at sea. If you're somewhere in the mountains with your parents and wanted to find the highest spot, what did you do? Well, you just kept on walking in the most increasing direction. And that's exactly what we're doing here as well. So we walk into the direction that increases the cost function most. And the way to do this, that is by computing a gradient. So now what does the gradient of our cost function look like? Well, again, tiny little derivation I spare you on the detail, but I give you the end result. The gradient is essentially the difference between the ground truth or a distribution that places all its mass on the ground truth example, that's the first part, minus the predicted distribution, and then scaled by the partial derivatives of your scoring function. So what do we need to do is we want to implement the deep learning algorithm. That's very easy, right? We compute this predicted distribution, and then we assume that our scoring function has the composite function, we just pass it back to reflect the change. That's what a deep learning algorithm looks like. It generally consists of 4 steps, I'd say. First, we have a forward path to compute the output of our function. Then we have a softmax on top, which normalizes the output to get our probability distribution. Then we compute the difference between the ground truth and the probability distribution. Backward path to get the derivative with respect to the parameters, and then we update our parameters. Very easy. So where's the problem with such an algorithm? Well, what is the size of the output space? The number of objects that get interested is huge. How do we defend the scoring function in that case? And assuming that we could somehow, how do we compute the distribution? And that's what I want to show you in the next couple of slides. To see that this is actually a real problem, let's look at a couple of examples that we might have seen throughout the day. So one example is image classification. Very standard size of the output space 1,000, right? We need to assign one of the 1,000 categories to an image. Seeing understanding that what I mentioned earlier, we need roughly 50 to the power of 4 discrete Lie layouts in order to discretize the space reasonably density. Or another example, tag prediction. How many possible combinations are there? Where the tag could or could not be assigned to the image, right? So it's 2 to the power of the number of tags. Or image segmentation. We can assign one of 3 categories to an image. So the possible size of the output space is 3 to the power of the number of pixels. That's just huge. That's not going to be tractable. But there's a key assumption that we can make, or a key observation that we make. Typically, we're not interested in predicting a single variable. We're in fact interested in jointly predicting a whole set of variables. Now, in order to get a more attractive algorithm, what we can assume is that our scoring function decomposes additively into a set of smaller scoring functions f sub r, each depending on only a subset of variables. Now, the interesting thing to note here is that I did not make any assumptions on the functional form of our scoring functions. Meaning my scoring function is still arbitrarily general. It could be any composite function like a CNN, for example. So, what can we do? What does the gradient look like if you have this decomposition assumption? Well, instead of having this difference computed over the entire, the global probability space, we're now having many differences. We need to sum over those smaller regions R, and then only sum over the small probability space, and compute those small differences. So it's a sum of many small differences. So that's kind of nice. But obviously there has to be a catch number. And the catch is that getting those smaller probabilities called marginalized is not trivial. In fact, it's a very hard problem, and we only can get approximations for this. So how can we get approximations? Well, there are items out there like sampling techniques or variation methods. In particular, interesting for deep learning are, in my opinion, those blending techniques. And what do I mean by that? Well, typically for standard learning algorithms, if we want to get marginalized, we have kind of a double algorithm. The first thing, we need to compute those margins. That in itself is an optimization problem. So we need to kind of run this algorithm until it converges. And then we perform a single update step in terms of our parameters before we have to recompute those margins. So we spend a lot of time in computing those margins typically. Instead, those blending techniques that we have been looking into, and we have a paper on that, they just update the margins a single step, and then you update your parameters, which is what you're actually interested in. You're interested in your parameters, you're not so much interested in the margins. And that's what makes this technique quite efficient, particularly when you're looking into deep learning techniques. Probability space. Now, that works, or you can only scale that so much. At some point in time, this is going to break. So oftentimes we want to, as I said, predict multiple variables. So what you could obviously do is you design convolutional neural networks for every variable that you want to predict, and predict them independently. But again, that's kind of suboptimal. The reason that's suboptimal is because if you want to predict multiple variables, very likely there are going to be correlations between those variables. And this is what we are interested in. We want to take advantage of those correlations with our data. So what we actually want to do is something like this, where we are having multiple variables, we have arbitrary functions for each of the individual variables, but then we're also having those higher order functions, which kind of link together the individual variables and model the correlations between those variables. So we went and implemented this. We came up with like a sample parallel implementation. So we take the data, we partition it onto multiple compute nodes, then essentially run an almost standard deep learning algorithm where each compute node uses the GPU, perform the forward task, then estimate your marginalized backpropagate synchronize your gradient across the machines and then update your parameters. So in summary, the way we deal with large number of training samples is just the same way that standard CNNs deal with large number of training samples by parallelizing across machines and by using mini batches. We're dealing with large output rates, so I think that's the core contribution by using variation and approximations with blending techniques for learning and inference. So now the key question I still need to answer is how does that actually work? And okay, let's skip through that. That was just to show that we can do standard data sets as well. So now that one data set I want to look at is tag prediction. Let's look at data set. We give an image and the task is to assign a combination of tags that describe the observed content. So now the graphical model that we had on top, or the task was to predict 38 tags. So the graphical model we had on top was a fully connected graph of 38 random variables, binary 0, 1, could be assigned or could not be assigned to the image. The CNN model for each of the universe was in this case AlexNet, named after Alex Krzyzewski. Then the CNN model for the tailway, we just used the linear one in this case, could possibly also use a non-linear one. The size of the output space was 2 to the power of 38. That's already pretty huge, I guess. 10,000 training samples, 10,000 test samples. So I mentioned earlier what you could do is you could train every CNN independently and then do this independent prediction. And that would give you a prediction error of 9.36% in our experiments. Now what you could do is you could go ahead and say, okay, I have those independent predictions. Now I train a separate structured model on top. I train it independently. And that would help you to improve the performance to 7.70% on this basis. However, the key point that I want to make is that it's suboptimal to train two systems if you're interested in a single task. The reason that's the case is because you want your gradients to focus on those regions where your network is not confident in, meaning you want to improve where neither the unities, neither the CNNs, nor the correlations give you perfect prediction, and not where only one of them gives you perfect predictions, which would happen if you would train those things separately. So therefore, when we train the whole thing jointly, what we did here is we also use pre-training, meaning we first train them separately and then fine-tune to further improve. We got the performance of 7.25%. Looking at some visual results, we see that it performs reasonably well. It obviously has some mistakes as well, and the key thing to probably look at is the tags and the correlations between the tags. So if you look at this chart for a subset of tags, we see that we actually capture what is typical. If you look, for example, at indoor and side, then we see that in an image, in an indoor image, high rarely codes yours, or indoor and high rarely codes yours, or indoor and lamp-like rarely codes yours. Now, let me skip through that, to wrap up. What did I talk to you about? I showed you an algorithm for how to combine deep learning techniques with structured prediction techniques. So we model the correlations between multiple variables. We have non-linear dependence on the parameters. We have a joint training using possibly many convolutional neural networks. We did a parallel implementation of that. Two key ingredients are the decomposition of functions, which is an assumption that typically occurs in applications, and what I think is also important is the blending of learning techniques, and all that can be applied to a wide range of data sets. With that, I'm going to thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer questions. For inviting me. These workshops are incredibly well done, so I really appreciate the management team. For everyone here today, you are the products of your DNA, your genome, and your experiences, how you learn or how you interact with the environment as you grow up. Ilya talked earlier today about OpenAI and his plans to support AI systems for figuring out how we learn from experiences. And what I'm interested in is the other part of the equation. Okay, so your DNA, think of it as your software, your program. The genomics of the work I've been doing for the last 15 years, the focus is on using AI to figure out how that works and how we can change it and influence it, change your genome, influence who you are. So the picture here shows a gene editing system. This is CRISPR-Cas9, which many people are probably familiar with. And this system allows you to actually edit DNA within living cells. So whether it's changing the DNA of a baby before the baby's born, or changing the DNA of an adult, this system has the potential to do that. Wide-ranging implications for curing disease, and ultimately reprogramming the genome and changing who we are. There are other kinds of systems that work in different ways. There's a rapidly growing number of these kinds of systems, so this is definitely in the future for us. And like artificial intelligence is going to change who we are, change humanity. So what I'm going to talk about today is why artificial intelligence is needed and is going to play a key role in this transformation. And I get the next slide, there we go. So first of all, just a couple minutes about deep genomics and my personal story. So in the 1990s, I was working in areas like vision, text, speech recognition, and I was a PhD student with John Hinton, just like Ilya. And back in those days, we were training neural nets that weren't as big or as deep as they are now. And I was focusing on these application areas. There was a lot of fun. We learned a lot of things. In 2002, my wife at the time and I discovered that the baby she was carrying had a genetic problem. We went to see a genetic counselor. The genetic counselor basically said it could be nothing or it could be a disaster. And that was very frustrating and emotionally very difficult for us. Just to have so little information. The genome was right there, right? The genome was about the time the genome was being sequenced. So we were at the point where we could actually read out the letters of the genome, 3 billion letters from your mom, 3 billion from your dad. And I was very frustrated that it seemed like a task that was very quantitative. There's the genome, and we just read out what's wrong. And also amenable to machine learning. It's almost statistical inference. And so I dropped my projects on vision, speech recognition, and text, and decided to focus instead on understanding how the genome looks like, how it works. And being a student of John Hinton, I learned his way of thinking about the potential capabilities of machine learning. In terms of machine learning, you just figure it all out. Like what Ilya was talking about this morning. This is the way, it's the driver of artificial intelligence that enables it to just figure the data out, make sense of the data, and then act on the data in useful ways. So that's the approach I took, and we had a bunch of success.
4、5分かかったと思う。これご存知ですか？でした？これ新宿駅とかで買えます。1日乗り放題。駅とかへ行けば買える。地下鉄とバス乗り放題のが700円。
だから2000円で。
あ、そうです。
もう8年生と若い人は来るんだよね。
Alright, which captures the dynamics of the individual. So it could be a vector nucleotide, it could be from a single array, or it could be the whole genome, so it's 3 billion letters if you like. Okay, so it could be encoded using like a 1 billion type of system. Alright, so the vector encodes the dynamics of the individual. You have a Y is a binary variable, whether the individual is answer or not. And I have a bunch of examples with answer, and a bunch of examples without answer. And the standard genome-wide association study method is linear regression. So Y is equal to theta times X. Alright, and so that produces basically a correlation. You just go through the genome, you look at each nucleotide, and then you correlate it with the genotype where the number person has cancer. And so the example here shows some cancer genomes, and to make a picture simple, just a block there wherever there's a mutation. And it really isn't just so really wants whether it's an A, C, T, or T there, but it's going to be a block there to indicate a mutation. And so you can just walk across the lines here, work your way across, and as you march across, you look to see whether there's enrichment of mutations in the cancer genome versus the normal genome. And then you maybe right here, so yeah, look, there's 3 mutations. And there's the cancer genome and the normal genome. And that's actually a standard technique, genome-wide association. The problems with that approach, as you might imagine, are that it ignores the complex chorus or the context dependence. So the effect of the mutation can depend on what other variants or other genetic mutations are in the vicinity. It also doesn't find a cause of the disease. Correlation is not the same as causation. For example, it could be a confounding factor that means that a whole bunch of people have a certain mutation. It has nothing to do with the disease, perhaps developed from the same family, highly successful family, 100,000 years ago. And then the third is it requires exponential amount of training data. So there's a few reasons for that. One of them is this idea of confounding factors. If there's a lot of confounding factors in your data set, a lot of other kinds of variability, you need more and more data that overcome those confounding factors. And in biology, there are a lot of confounding factors. There's all these confounding factors having to do with the population and subgroups of the population. Those are confounding factors. Exponential amount of data because biology is complex. We all know that there's no linear relationship between your DNA and who you are. Obviously, sound like hope that's true. No, there's good reason to think to know that's true. I'll talk a little bit about that. So who you are is a very complicated function, if you like, of your genetics. It's not just a simple linear mapping. Okay, and so because that function is very, very, very complicated, you need an exponential amount of data in terms of the number of variables, the number of components in that complex system, in order to train the model properly. And so really, this exponential data problem is very challenging, and it's one of the reasons why figuring out how to apply machine learning to genomics is a difficult problem. But there is a solution, and I'll talk about that. And so it's given us sort of basically sequencing 1 million or even 1 billion genomes won't address the problem. I remember talking to somebody once, like, well, if you just sequence everyone's genome in the world, that'd be okay. If not, that's all you ever need. Well, that's not true, because of course there's a lot more potential babies that could be born than the number of people in the world. So why do we need AI? So I'll tell you about how biology works. Some of you probably already know this, but I'll talk about how biology works. And that will hopefully convince you why there's a key role for AI in cracking how genetics leads to disease and how we can fix it. So this is called the central dogma of molecular biology. What's shown here is DNA, so this is the genome. It contains the 3 billion letters, or 6 billion if you include your mom and your dad, and each of your cells. Replication, of course, is using a copy of that DNA to make more cells. To make proteins, which carry out the functions of the cell, the DNA is transcribed into RNA. The RNA is also just a sequence of letters, ACGT, the T is replaced with T. And the protein goes on, because that's various functions of the cell. But the actual situation is a bit more complex, and much more like this. There's a lot of interactions. In fact, one thing I've learned about biology is anything goes. Anything. And so not only do we have transcription, but the RNA was formed, combined with the DNA, have an impact, or interact with the DNA, I should say, and it have an impact on other processes. RNA gets processed to make other RNA, RNA fixes RNA, changing the way the RNA works. Proteins interact with proteins, proteins interact with RNA, proteins interact with DNA. So all these feedback loops make the system even more complicated. There we go. And if something goes wrong somewhere in the complex system, we get a disease. So that's what's really going on. It's a complicated problem. So let's boil down to some simple steps to understand if we can crack it using learning AI. So first step is sequencing a genome. You get blood sampling, have a sample from a person from the cells, stick it into the machine, and out of the machine pumps a readout of these 3 billion letters, just like shown here. Now, in case of spinal muscular atrophy, as mentioned, everybody in the room has a snippet of DNA. Okay. In case of spinal muscular atrophy, the genetics are a bit complicated, but it boils down to a mutation. Shown here, the C is mutated into a T, and that's what leads to the disease. Now, what's interesting is if you look at the process over here and say, well, what went wrong? Why did that mutation lead to disease? What's going on here is the process of splicing goes wrong. So I'll talk about this in a bit more detail. When the process takes RNA and it transforms it to another RNA molecule, mutation causes that process to go wrong. So there's nothing else in the system. It's that particular process that gets messed up. Alright, so this is a bit of the detail, just a slide showing a bit more biology. Now we'll move on to the AI part of the equation. So splicing involves taking an RNA molecule, chopping up into segments, this is what occurs inside of your cells all the time, it's going on right now. Chop it up and then stick the pieces together, and that's called splicing. In the case of spinal muscular atrophy, what happens is the mutation in the DNA, it gets copied into the RNA molecule. Now the RNA molecule has a mutation, and that causes splicing to go wrong, and the second chop is not included. That's what leads to the disease. Okay, so now you can start to get your mind around, first of all, the mechanism, how the mutation or the error in the software leads to the disease, and then how you might fix it. So how you need to put this mechanism back on track, get things going in the right direction. Now the actual therapy that was discovered So I think there's a therapy that directly targets that mutation, but it doesn't directly target a different region of the DNA. The part over here. I won't talk about the details of how that therapy works, but it basically interacts with this part of the sequence that fixes that mutation over there, affects that mutation. So I wanted to show you this for simple reasons because maybe you can force of the problem. It's not just a correlation type of problem. Find a correlation mutation, fix the mutation. It's a much more complicated problem than that. There are common force. That's why, of course, leads you to think, okay, well, deep learning would be appropriate. Deep learning can handle those common force. Alright, so let's look at the different approaches. We have biological knowledge, which is the diagram I've got up there. There's an explosion of a number of data sets profiling what's going on inside of the cell. So each of those arrows you see there in the diagram, there's more and more data sets being generated all the time. There's a huge data sets, right? We're being cracked using a single thing. The learning approach is one of the write a program. It's that thing, that kind of thing. So I capture the biology in a logical program. And you might guess that's not going to work because first of all, there's a lot of real value quantity. Second of all, our biological knowledge is incomplete. So this diagram is not complete. And third of all, there's a lot of noise in the data. So I try to write down a rule so that we can won't really get it right. Another approach is to write down stochastic differential equations. So you'll get concentration of an RNA molecule, the concentration of the NAM molecule, and then you write down some stoichiometric constraints. And you write down stochastic differential equations and try to solve them. That'll work for a toy system where everything's very controlled. But again, what's going on in the cells is a lot of noise, there's a lot of molecules that we don't know about, there's a lot of processes that we don't know about. And so the mess up the equations will break. So when you think about it, this is a perfect problem for machine learning. As I said, there's an exponentially growing number of data sets that tell us what's going on in those processes. We have some knowledge which is sort of swept through the graph. And so we use machine learning or deep learning to build statistical models of each of those components. And that's what we do with deep genomics. For each of these arrows here, we contain data sets, and then we train models to capture the way these processes work. And the nice thing about using the actual data is that the biological knowledge is perfect. The machine learning method will still do the best it can in figuring out the relationship. Okay, so there's a hidden variable we didn't measure. There's a hidden variable. Machine learning can actually figure out that hidden variable. Alright. So here's the approach to using AI machine learning to crack the problem. So the first key idea, and I have to say that most of the genetics community either doesn't really understand this idea or does not believe that it's crucial. But the first key idea is inductive learning. Okay? So by inductive learning compared to transductive learning, what I mean is
こんなにあるんですね。いいですね、乗り放題。ああ。
We can also look at DNA editing system, CRISPR-Cas9. We modify the genome, so we get a mutation in the genome, a modification to the genome, maybe not the same location. We can ask the question, is that the biomolecule concentration back on track? So that's how we can use the system to understand disease. All right, so what about data sets? Only 5 years ago, when I was working in this area, it was really hard to get good, large biology data sets. And when I worked with people at the University of Toronto, a lot of people in machine learning, that was always one of the challenges. Okay, this data set has small, it's too noisy. Things have very much changed. We're in a completely new world now. Lots and lots of data profiling what's going on inside of these cells. So I'll give you just a few examples. So deep genomics, we're looking at data sets that profile these different molecules and these different processes. So data sets like RNA, DNA, the translation of DNA to RNA, the splicing, so converting RNA molecules to another RNA molecule, interactions between RNA and protein, protein and protein, and so on and so forth. So I'll tell you what's one of these data sets. So this is a splicing data set. We have 73 trillion data points. All right, made up from 9,600 data sets, profiling 54 different tissues. This is the work of Tim Cook-Ellis and Alex Rosenberg. All right, here's the distribution of the number of data sets containing different numbers of data points. So the data set ranges from 20 million data points to about 220 million, and that's the distribution of those data sets. So lots of data. If you look at the number of data sets for different tissues, you see that shown in this graph here. For example, adipose is over here, these are the brain tissues. This is the number of data sets we have for different regions of the brain. Cerebral cortex, cortical cortex, cerebellum, other regions of the brain. All right, so let's come back to spinal muscular atrophy. So we saw there that there's a mutation that causes the splicing to go wrong, we get the wrong RNA product, and that leads to a disease. So I'm going to show you the training set that we capture this process, and then you can think of the machine learning technique that you apply to that training set. So to be very concrete, we take our input sequence, which is an RNA, the molecule, which just like DNA, captured by 4 letters, A, C, G, and T. And for each position, we just use one hot coding to code the nucleoside. All right, so that's what the picture shows. All right, so if I'm interested in an RNA molecule and whether it's going to be spliced, I can just convert the RNA molecule to this 4x10 matrix using one hot coding. All right, so now I'm showing you what the training data looks like. So each of these training cases, they have different numbers of inputs. So training data is highly structured and complicated. That's interesting. So training case 1 has a certain number of inputs. Training case 1.2 trillion has a much larger number of inputs. So each of these inputs is a different row. Okay, each case is a different row. And different rows correspond to different possible spliced products. Okay. And so for example, going back to this over here, this is the one row of the training case, this is the other row of the training case, 2 different possible spliced products. Okay. Alright, so each row is a different possible product of splicing. So you'll notice the first part of the row is the same. Okay, this pattern over here is the same for these different rows, and that's because the first part of the RNA molecule is the same for all of these different possible splicing units. Okay, the second part varies. That's because different complementary pieces that we splice into the first piece. The target is what we measure. Okay, the target is the probability of seeing a particular sequence in the actual cell. Alright, it's probability because there's a lot of noise in the measurements, we have to convert, so we can convert the probability of distribution as opposed to a certain value. Alright, so this particular molecule here, this is almost always produced in the cell. This training case is split evenly between these 2 different molecules. So this is an example of alternative splicing where 2 different molecules are produced by the splicing machinery. So I'm not going to talk about how we actually train molecules and coming up with a technique here in LSTM or just a recurrent neural net or just a deep neural net. Have to account for variable numbers of inputs, but that's machine learning research, that's what we like to do, something up. So now how do we use the system? Whether that puts it back on track. Okay, that's how the machine learning system can be used to detect disease and also explore the space of therapies. We can compare our system using predictions and experimentally determined values. So using slow numbers from our lab experiments, we get like a correlation of 0.74, which is really amazing in biology. Getting a correlation of 0.74 between a computational prediction and an actual biological measurement is pretty amazing. We can also quantify variance within pathogenic or not, so we can look at publicly available databases. These are data sets where your mutations, if you have a problem, we come to a clinical lab, they sequence your DNA, found a mutation. It could be put in one of these public databases, labeled pathogenic or benign. And so these public databases, the ClinVar name of this database that we look at, are a good resource for validating your systems, making sure they work properly. So here we're showing the RLC curve, false positive, false true positives for the mutation fed into our system, and we score it, and then we see whether that score is a good indication of pathogenicity. And by the way, our systems work quite well because how well they compare to humans is a question that's still being addressed. Turns out that humans compared to humans are not so great. If you send your mutations to 2 different clinical labs, a recent study showed that those labs will disagree between 15 and 50% of the time on whether or not mutation is a problem. Different therapy, this is just a glimpse into what we're doing. I won't have much time to talk about this. But each of these columns here shows different therapies being used to treat a disease, and it's experimental data. The pattern here tells you how effective that therapy is for treating the disease. This is a prediction of our system. Overlaid at the top are much more discrete and binary because we have the neural net. And so if I just space back between them, you can see that there's a good match. Alright, I'm going to conclude my talk by discussing some of the AI challenges that we're confronted with. I think I could overlap with a lot of the challenges that are being generally in AI. And there's overlap in what I'll talk about here and what I'll talk about earlier. One of the most important problems we find is big data versus smart data. If you're trying to find a needle in a haystack, throwing a lot more hay on the stack does not help. Right? And so that's why we want smart data. You really want to get rid of all the data that's relevant to the problem you want to solve. So that's really important for us as machine learning researchers. The second one is trust. 40 years ago, if you told somebody an airplane when we landed by a computer, they thought we were going to go on an airplane. And now computers land airplanes all the time. And so how do we go from that state to the current state? Trusting the computer. And one of the most important aspects of this is transparency. When you're looking at whether the computer is landing the airplane, you have to say, oh, it is a poison landing gear.